大家好，你们好，我不知道谁看这个，可是我的名字是艾莱恩。我现在说中文，因为我学中文在台湾。我爱台湾，因为我的女朋友是台湾人，和我真喜欢学中文。我学中文在师大学校，那个上课有10个人，我们都是外国人。我们有2个美国人，一个多米尼加人，一个印尼人，5个日本人和也一个韩国人。我是美国人，我的老师是台湾人。So what's going on, guys? Snowball here, and I guess that's the proof that I speak Chinese. A lot of people have been asking me to do a video on that, and so there you go. That's all you get. I can speak a lot more, but it gets kind of difficult sometimes sitting here in front of a microphone trying to speak a different language, and it's just like, I keep messing up. And so what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the epic story time. And before we get to this actual story, which is freaking amazing, the best con I've ever heard of so far, and we'll get to that, and just be patient with me. So I just want to talk for a minute about this story time. So we had the first episode, and it looked great. Thank you so much for you guys' feedback. You guys really seem to love it, and the likes, comments, and views and whatnot. Just it was a great feeling, and I'm glad you guys liked the beginning of this. So if you missed the first episode, you can check it out on the annotation on the screen. And I know some people do watch on a mobile device all the time, so I will have a link in the description for these videos, and so you guys can check the links down there. So anyways, the first story was my first fight in school in 5th grade, and so now what I want to do, I've seen a couple people do these story times on YouTube, and I'm not going to give out any names, but the first person that I saw was doing stories only about themselves, and they were crazy, hilarious, and sort of disgusting sometimes stories, but they always grab people's attention, and people seem to love them. But with any story time, what happened was that he just ran out of stories to say about himself. You only live so long, and this guy was, he's in his 20s. He's not that much older than me. I'm 20, and I think he's about 23, 24, so, you're going to run out of stories after a while. And I've seen other people who does subscriber stories, which that will last a lot longer. Well, what I want to do is kind of mix it up, mix and mingle, ready to mingle, whatnot. Yeah, so first story was about me. This second story is going to be about somebody else. Third story about me. Fourth story about somebody else. Subscribers of mine, if you got, or people watching this video, if you have any stories about yourself, let me know in the comments below, or PM me on the YouTubes here, or the Twitters, or Facebooks, or the MySpace, and who uses that crap anymore, I don't know. I'm not really good with networking, I don't do it very often, but I just like the YouTubes. So yeah, if you guys have any stories or anything like that, it doesn't really have to be relevant or anything. I would love to hear about them. So anyways, let's get to the story, guys. The perfect con, and this is amazing. Now, cons are illegal. Con artists, people who, they get you to trust them, and then they screw you over. Kind of like a lawyer. So, anyways, the perfect con here. Now, this is illegal. I wouldn't suggest anybody to do it, but I'm going to read about it because this is freaking awesome. So, I did find this on Twitter, and I was just like, oh my god, I have to use this for the epic story time. So, this guy says he had tickets to a sporting event and he could not attend. And I am reading this off of a thing on my computer here because I don't want to get any of the facts wrong. So, he had tickets to a sporting event and he could not attend. Must have had something more important come up. Who knows? So, he made a one-day listing and clearly stated that the tickets must be picked up in person within 24 hours. The game was that evening after the auction ended, so there wasn't any time to ship the tickets. A woman won the auction for about $600. The auction had ended at 10 a.m., and by 5 p.m. she still hadn't responded to my emails. So the 10 a.m. day, the game was the next day. And so at 5 p.m. she still hadn't responded to any of his emails trying to organize the exchange. Finally, at 9:30 p.m. he got a one-liner email. I overbid and my husband won't let me buy these. Sorry, and enjoy the game. And now the guy says, I first tried explaining that I wouldn't have the time to resell the tickets. I already got turned down by the losing bidders. And then she responds, that's not my problem. It's eBay, not a car dealership. I can back out if I want. So we really don't understand the car dealership reference, and the guy says that too. He says, I still don't understand the car dealership reference, but keep that in mind. It's at the end of the story. So, the guy says, I was upset. I was basically going to be stuck with the tickets to an event that I could not attend. That's when I got the idea to convince her to change her mind. He creates a new eBay account, anonymous of himself, called we'll call it Payback, and he sends her a message from this Payback account and says, Hi there, I noticed you won an auction for 4 sporting event tickets. I meant to bid on these but couldn't get to a computer. I wanted to take my son and dad and would be willing to give you $1,000 for the tickets. I imagine you've already made plans to attend, but I figured it was worth a shot. So you smart people out there probably already know what's going to happen, but it's still a pretty freaking great story. At 11:30 p.m., she responds to the Payback account, I'll do it for $1,100, no less. Ooh, we got a bargain on our hands. I can meet you at the game if you agree. I need your phone number. At 11:35 p.m., Payback writes, Deal, here's my number. Thanks, Google Voice, for the throwaway phone number. So Google Voice, just gave him a free phone number, basically, so she can call him on that. She called a few minutes later and made the Payback guy promise to go through with the deal. She emphasized that she'd be out of a lot of money if Payback backed out, but Payback swears on his life he would never do such a thing. So, you guys probably already know what's going to happen. At 11:45 p.m., the woman emails the original guy who set up the entire eBay bidding and says, Fine, I'll buy them, but you have to drop them off at my house tonight. I'll have the cash ready. So at midnight, this guy drives all the way over to her house across town, meets her on the road in front of her apartment building. He writes that she was a nasty and rude individual. Things didn't get any better when I told her I wanted an extra 20 for the trouble of driving there at midnight. Yeah, and he's pushing his luck, and he knows it. It became very awkward, and she literally threw 31 $20 bills at him. I counted them before handing over the tickets and said, Thanks for the great transaction, and she flipped them off while walking away. At 10 a.m. the next day, now mind you that 10 a.m. is the day of the game. The 10 a.m. day. I know 10 a.m. is not a freaking day, it's a time. Now, get off my back. Come on, I speak English too. So at 10 a.m., she called Payback to make sure they were still on for the exchange. Payback says that he could no longer go to the game and wouldn't be able to do the exchange. She blew her freaking top, and he swears to God started speaking in tongues. And Payback responds with a smile, Ma'am, this is eBay, not a car dealership, and hangs up. Oh my God. And then he continues on to say, I got a rabid email 10 minutes later telling me that I was going to hell, and she reported him to the local police, FBI, and the fire department. He never heard one word from her again, and has no idea if she even went to the game or not. So guys, look what we got on our hands. Something illegal, but really freaking funny. Now, I think this is probably the perfect con that I've ever heard about. For a couple of reasons. One, nobody got killed or injured or hurt or anything. I guess except for the lady's wallet. And maybe her feelings, I don't know. But she's out $620. And that was about it. I mean, the guy got his money. And the lady could actually go to the game, which is why she was going to buy the tickets in the first place. So at least somebody gets to go to the game. This guy could not go to the game. Now, there's no telling what's going to happen if this guy runs into her in the local supermarket or something like that, this nasty old hag. I don't know what's going to happen then. Maybe he's, already gone from here now. But this just makes for a great story, guys. I mean, this is truly, like, the best con I've ever heard of. And you see types of stuff like this in the movies. Sawyer from Lost did a lot of cons and stuff like that, con artist maneuvers and whatnot. And the best one I've probably seen was off of Zombieland. And now this is in the movies, but it is possible in real life. Maybe somebody's done it before. I'm pretty sure it's a true con if they've thought about it in a movie. So in the movie, what had happened was the lady was searching all around the parking lot for something. And then the shopkeep guy walks outside and says, "Oh, hey, what's wrong, lady? May I help you? What you looking for?" And she goes on to say, "Oh my God, my wedding ring! I lost it. It's my engagement ring. I'm getting married next week. Oh my God, I lost it." And he goes, "Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that." And then she says, "I really gotta go somewhere too." And then he says, "Well, you go ahead and I'll find it and I'll mail it to you." And she goes, "Oh my God, you would really do that?" And he goes, "Oh, sure, anything for a pretty lady." And she goes, "Okay, well, I'll give you a reward, $1,000, please." And he says, "Oh no, okay, don't worry about it." And then he goes in, he's talking on the phone to his friend. He's like, "Oh yeah, pretty hot thing out there, looking for a ring. She's gonna give me $1,000 when I find it." And he looks out in the window, and there's this little girl in the parking lot. She picks up a ring and looks at it. And he's like, "Hey, I gotta go." And he runs outside, and, "Hey, you found my ring." And she's like, "This isn't yours." And he's like, "Oh, it's a friend's. I was looking for it." And she says, "Oh, well, that's cool." And he says, "Yeah, how about you give it back to me?" And she says, "I want a reward." And then the next thing you see, he's taking all the money out of the cash register and handing it to her. And then she gives him the ring. And she walks off and gets in the car with the other lady that lost the ring. And it was a fake ring, and now they have some cash. And so that's another con. Cons and stuff like that for money, it is illegal, and it's stealing, and it is a problem. But you gotta admit, this eBay one, that's great. I mean, that is hilarious. And so the lady gets to go to the game. She's only out $600. I mean, she can make that back if she has a job. So come on. I mean, that's pretty funny. I'm digging it. I'm digging that one. It's great. I got robbed by a freaking food store here. I was going to class, and the lady was like, selling food right outside the school there, and they have like a whole little store there, like a little shack. And I went up to her, and we spoke Chinese, and I told her I wanted 5 dumplings. And she said, "Okay." She yelled out, "5 dumplings for this guy!" And then I asked her how much money it's going to be, and she said $25, which isn't even $1 in American, so I'm not worried about it. $1 in American is $29 here. And I handed her $25, and she said it would be ready in a few minutes. And 25 minutes went by, and I still didn't have my freaking food. And I went to try to say something to her, and she wouldn't listen. And I was just like, "You know what? Forget it. I got class now. I'm late." And I just walked off. I mean, I got robbed. Okay, it wasn't even $1, and this lady lost $600. I know, big difference, but still, come on. It happens every day to people, big amount, small amount. I don't know. But if you guys have any stories or anything like that, like I said before, get in touch with me somehow. Look at the links below and whatnot for the previous video, and that one was actually pretty good. And if you guys haven't already, please subscribe for the latest greatest Call of Duty videos uploaded. Not only Call of Duty, but a lot of series been going on here, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying those. And if you would like to leave a like or dislike, I'm doing my thumbs up and down here, go ahead and do that. It just lets me know how you guys feel about this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.